than just this. So you might want to start thinking about as you learn about the 5 different languages, and for sure you could expand that out to as many numbers as you want, but these are 5 basic ideas. Think about when you learn what those different ones are, and think about what do you do when you want to communicate to someone that you love them? And actually, does it match up? Now, sometimes it might. For some people, it might. For others, it might not. Okay, my wife's number 2, which is receiving gifts, is also her probably number 1 or 2 ways of communicating love. She loves to pick up something for you or get you something and just do something like that. Now, of course, since it's my last one, it doesn't go well. I am so hard to buy for. Some of you have already tried that as anniversary things. And almost none of you have nailed it and it's not your fault. I'm just real hard to get. I don't like that. It doesn't bother, it's not important to me. I have only a 1 in my score for that. That's a pretty low point. My number 1, though, I have very high. It's an 11 at a possible highest score of 12 or something. So, okay. No, my score was a 1 point. Okay, I'm sorry. When I talk about my number 1, that's true. I did confuse things. Okay. So for me, I only have 1 point in the lowest one. The highest score you can get when you start scoring your test here in a minute, I think it's 12 or something like that. And so I have an 11 in my top score. My bottom score thing only has a 1 in it. Julie's bottom score thing only has a 3 in it. So she didn't have something as completely disconnected as I did. Okay, you guys ready to score them? Okay. So the scoring goes like this. Let me get it out of the book here. A is words of affirmation. So count up your A's on the back, count out your B's. On the back page, there's a place to put your scores, right? Count up your A's, B's, C's, and D's on page 2 of your test. So you may want to go ahead and count up your letters. You should have done that if you already finished your test, realizing that there was a place for that, but that's okay. By the way, if you were using one of my pens and you've been sticking it in your mouth, it's yours now. I've caught a few of you. If receiving gifts is your love language, have fun. Have a gift. It's yours. And by the way, that's part of my keeping you safe because I don't use those pens. Those are the pens we use for the offering envelopes and everything else. So I'm protecting you from you, essentially. Okay, for those of you that already did your scores, A, words of affirmation. B, quality time. C, receiving gifts. D, acts of service. I'll say this several times, so don't worry about it. E, physical touch. Words of affirmation, quality time, gifts, acts of service, physical touch. Words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, physical touch. Anybody need me to say that again? Words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, physical touch. Okay? A, B, C, D, E. And you'll get a score. I didn't mean to confuse things. Robin, thank you for pointing it out because that was confusing the way I kept saying 1 and 1. So, all right. The highest score is a 12. It's not uncommon to have 2 high scores, it says here, although one love language does have a slight edge for most people. If you have 2 high scores, it means it's just there are 2 languages that are important to you. That's all. The lower scores indicate those languages you seldom use to communicate love and that probably don't affect you very much on an emotional level. Okay? This is from the book 5 Love Languages by a guy named Gary Chapman. There is a test you could do online on the number 5 lovelanguages.com. I gave you the one that's in the book. Okay? And I think I actually typed out the entire test, so hopefully I didn't spell anything too wrong or anything else, because it's the only way for me to get it out of the book. All right, are we all done scoring our tests yet? How many people have not yet finished scoring their test? All right, this is not advanced math. Let's get going. The red at the front of the room is getting impatient. I know, but I don't know if I have time for it. Okay? Okay, we're just waiting. We'll have a lot of editing to do here on the video just to get all this waiting time out. Okay. I'm going to start talking about the 5 languages here. If you haven't finished, just pay attention as best you can while you're doing math. We are able to do, hopefully, multitasking. You're going to be like, oh, man, I had the number, and then he started talking, and then the whole thing went out. Okay. 11, 14, 32, 1, 6, 8, 5. That was just mean, actually. That was just mean. I think I'm overtired. What was that? Just the sarcastic red yellow thing is just coming out stronger. Okay. So, the highest score indicates your primary love language. You're going to be able to get a copy of this sheet, by the way, as you walk out the room. We have them outside the door, ready for you to grab on the way out. All right. Highest score indicates your primary love language, how you really understand your partner's expressions of love. It's common to have 2 high scores. The highest score is 12, although one love language tends to have a slight edge over for most people. The lower scores in your profile indicate those love languages you seldom use to communicate your love. Now remember, we're not talking about communicating yours. Actually, this is more about receiving at the moment. What needs to happen for you to feel loved? Because you don't always have the same in both directions. Sometimes you might, but it doesn't always go both in the same directions. Okay, so physical touch. This is just the order they wrote them in. I know that doesn't match your A, B, C, D, but physical touch. How many are physical touch people? Is their number one, their highest score? Okay? For you guys, this language isn't all about the bedroom. A person whose primary language is physical touch is, not surprisingly, very touchy. But they don't mean that in an emotional way. In other words, hugs, pats on the back, holding hands, thoughtful touches on the arm, shoulder, or face. They can all be ways to show excitement, concern, care, and love. So someone with physical touch really appreciates that if you're busily doing something, like if you're doing something in the kitchen or you're doing something at your desk or whatever it is, and the other person happens to walk by and just kind of give you just a touch on the arm or a touch on the shoulder, just some sort of physical contact. They might like to just be happy sitting next to you, but touching while sitting next to you, or walking and holding hands, or just being close like that. Physical touch. All right? Words of affirmation. I'm sorry, let me finish here. I didn't get the whole thing here. Okay, so physical presence and accessibility are crucial as part of physical touch. Physical presence and accessibility are crucial. My wife will tell you that at times I follow her around the house. I just seem to be hovering around when my physical touch is out of whack. I just need to be, you've seen it, okay? Because Sarah Beth's been at the house, and I just kind of don't know what I'm doing. I'm talking and killing. I just need to figure out how to get near her. And it's distracting them when they're trying to work. Okay. Be quiet, daughter. Now, got a parent from the stage sometimes. Okay. But just so you know that has to do with being around and just wanting people around so that you can have that access. Okay? Let's see. Physical presence and accessibility are crucial, while neglect or abuse can be unforgivable and destructive. Physical touch fosters a sense of security and belonging in any relationship. Words of affirmation. Where are the words of affirmation, people? You guys did a good job raising your hand. And the physical touch people, I'll give you a hug by the door on the way out. Okay. That was great. Actions don't always speak louder than words. If this is your love language, unsolicited compliments mean the world to you. Hearing the words, I love you, are important. Hearing the reasons behind that love sends your spirit skyward. Insults can leave you shattered and are not easily forgotten. Kind, encouraging, and positive words are truly life-giving. So for the words of affirmation person, compared to the physical touch person, if you're dealing with the physical touch person, you tell them that you love them over and over again and never touch them or hug them or give them any physical affection, the words mean nothing. For the words of affirmation person, you can give them all the hugs in the world, but if you haven't told them what's going behind those hugs, you haven't expressed that you love them and why and how wonderful you think they are, again, it's not doing it. It's not going to accomplish what you want. Quality time. We're the quality time people. You're out of luck with me. I'm just no good at this. I apologize. Please forgive me. This is my worst thing almost. Okay. Quality time. In the vernacular of quality time, nothing says I love you like full, undivided attention. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. What? Wait, where? Yes, dear. What was that? I'm sorry. What did you say? That's not going to work for quality time person. All right, put your phone down. Focus on them, give them your full attention, spend your time. Okay, so quality time, nothing says I love you like full undivided attention. Being there for this type of person is critical, but really being there with the TV off, fork and knife down, and all the chores and tasks on standby makes your significant other feel truly special and loved. Distractions, postponed dates, or the failure to listen can be especially hurtful. Quality time also means sharing quality conversation and quality activities. Honey Bunny Day. Okay? Because my wife's quality time was, where's my sheet? On the back here. I think it was her first or second. It was her number one. You see why Honey Bunny Day worked real good there? And guess what I got to do on Honey Bunny Day? I got to hold her hand. You want to spend quality time with me? You need to hold my hand. Not you guys. Oh, I see where you were going with that. You sickos. Oh, I'm sorry. That was an in focus from the other day. Okay. Unless you get referred to by me on any kind of basis as Honey Bunny, that's not for you. You see how hard it is to communicate? I stepped right into that one. All right. Acts of service, where are you guys? Okay, wonderful. Can vacuuming the floors really be an expression of love? Absolutely. Anything you do to ease the burden of responsibilities weighing on an acts of service person will speak volumes. The words he or she most wants to hear is, let me do that for you, dear. Laziness, broken commitments, and making more work for them tell speakers of their language their feelings don't matter. Finding ways to serve speaks volumes to the receipt of these acts. So, if you're married to someone like the cobbler's family doesn't have any shoes, that person, if they're an acts of service person, they're mad at you more beyond the regular person. But if you would do something for them, ease a burden, you see them with something, you come and say, I'll carry that for you. Acts of service. Okay? So for my wife, that was right in the middle. It was a 6, but she's a big acts of service person. She likes task-oriented. I mean, she about went through the sky when she had bought a cabinet for the homeschooling, like a shelving unit. And she knew I wasn't going to build it. She was going to build it with my son because I was busy with getting preparation for the feast and stuff. And she was out, and I built it while she was gone. And boy, did she just go. I got a hug. Yeah, I did. Okay, so now, okay, by the way, we'll catch this at the end. Okay, receiving gifts. Who are you guys? None of you. Okay, the one or two of you. Okay, we do have a copy of this in the back table. It's free. You can have it. It's a gift. And the test, too. You can keep that. Those of you with the pen in your mouth, an extra gift. Don't mistake this love language for materialism. They don't need it to be expensive, okay? The receiver of gifts thrives on the love, thoughtfulness, and effort behind the gift. That's why, the ones who like to receive gifts, they love the thing that the little child made and said, here it is for you, like the homemade card. Okay, it doesn't have to be something you spend any money on. It's the thought and the effort behind it. So don't think that, oh, I'm in trouble. No, I didn't realize my wife's gift thing is like going to kill me here. No, it doesn't have to, it's not the money. It's the thought and the effort and that you brought something to give them. Like you happened to be in going on a trip somewhere and you brought them back a little knick-knack or something from where you went, which I never remember to do. Because receiving gifts, I only have 1 point in. And giving gifts, I have the same score probably. But for my wife, that's number 2 on her list. I mean, that's her second highest one, okay? And so I have to remember next time when I travel that although I don't see why it's important to get her something from a place she hasn't been, she'll love it, okay? So all of you who've gotten our anniversary gifts, you scored big points with at least one of us. Those of you who came over and gave me a hug for it, I was happy, okay. All right? Or an attaboy or a pat on the back, any kind of words of affirmation, encouragement, hey, fabulous, 20 years, whatever it was. Because my 2 top are physical touch and words of affirmation. 11 and 9 are the points. Anybody get a 12 in anything? Good for you. What'd you get a 12 in? Acts of service. Okay. In the back, what'd you get a 12 in, Dennis? Acts of service. It seems like our 12s are all in acts of service. That's interesting. Okay, and what was that? Gary, what did she get 12 in? Quality time. I don't think she probably thinks it's quality time while you're sitting there pointing a finger at her head going, she has a 12. Okay. That's not, she's definitely not thinking that's quality time. Okay. So here's the thing about receiving gifts. If you speak this language, the perfect gift or gesture shows that you are known, you are cared for, and you are prized above whatever was sacrificed to bring you the gift. A missed birthday, anniversary, or a hasty, thoughtless gift would be disastrous. So with the absence of everyday gestures, gifts are visual representations of love and are treasured greatly. Okay, if you see my wife, you can compliment her on the ring and the necklace that I got her. She picked it up herself. So, but she thanked me for it. Look at what you got me. She's learned. But don't laugh and think that way. I did used to get her some very nice gifts for our anniversaries. Because I had this thing about, again, read results, thinking about a process. I wanted to know what the 5-year anniversary stone was. It happened to be in K Jewelers, and they had a little card that said these are the different, stones for anniversaries and stuff. And it was sapphire, and that's what she has. It's also September, which is when we got married, is the stone for September, sapphire. So I got her a necklace with 5 sapphires on it. So 5-year, 5 sapphires. And the next year I got her 6, whatever the 6 was. I did that for like 4 or 5 years in a row. Okay, where I got 7. And it's not easy to find any kind of jewelry that actually has the right number of things. And with sapphires was tough because 5 stones were almost in the shape of a cross almost always. 3 down, 2 on the outside, boom, a cross. So I had to find one that was kind of more in a circle, which worked out really well. But so don't think I don't understand her love language. I wouldn't do it. But she was smart enough to think, hey, I'll get myself a gift. I'll tell him I appreciated that it was for him, and we're both happy. Because she thanked me, and I didn't have to do it. That was kind of good. All right. How do you feel about this in terms of, does it match up with you somewhat? Does it kind of help understand some things? Okay, now, if you're married, you need to understand the spouses. If you want another set or another copy, you can come up here and grab a set when you're going out so you can have a copy to maybe have your spouse go through, okay? In case they're not here and that kind of a thing, so that you can learn. The key thing is to understand, learn your language, and also remember that even though the book doesn't say this as much, it's not necessarily how you receive it, it's the same as how you give it. So start to analyze, when I want to express love to someone, which one of these 5 things do I tend to do? You don't need a test for it. Now that you understand it, look at your life. If you care about somebody, what do you generally do? Do you think of them to buy them a little knick-knack or make them a little something? Okay. Do you want to go over and just go over and give them a kind of a touch that shows that you're there and you care, or do you want to hug? What is the thing that you do? that communicates when you think, I feel this way about somebody, how do you normally show it? Do you go spend some, do you say, hey, I'd like to have coffee with you and spend some quality time? I mean, one of the things that, since I know my wife, quality time is number one, if I want to really make her day, when everything's quieted down, I'll sit in the kitchen at the table and have a coffee and a little, dessert of some sort. That'll just be the top. And I don't drink coffee really, that's the thing, but if I would drink it with her and sit there a little quality, that would just be the top. You have to learn the people's languages that are in your life. And they need to learn yours. And then things should be a lot more cohesive. Amen? Okay. How many people got their color code stuff done? Almost everybody. Okay. So let's go over that real quickly. You ready for your score on the back? Did you count up your A, B, C, Ds? More math. All right, get them done. A, B, C, D. Ready, set, go. Now remember, when you put them down, hold on. On the back of your sheet, there are 2 sets of lines. Okay, there's 4 lines, and there's 4 on one level and 4 right below it. Put the number of A, B, C, Ds on the top line, 1, 2, 3, 4 going across. Leave room underneath. You're going to write the percentage. You don't have to do the math. I'm going to put it on the screen. Okay, so starting left to right, A, then B, then C, then D on that top row. And then the next one, you're going to do the math. I'll put it on the screen so you have your percentages. So you don't have to write the letters A, B, C, D. Just know the first one's your A's, second one's your B's, going from left to right on the bottom of your page. There's 2 rows of lines. Okay? I did this with the teenagers, and half of them wrote the letter A, B, C, and D on the first line, and then their number on the second line. They didn't have a place to write their percentages. Well, you could write it below. It doesn't matter. Okay? A, B, C, D. And then once you're finished, make sure that they add up to 45. There's 45 questions. So you want to make sure you didn't miss any of your numbers. All right? So first put the A, B, C's, and D's down, and then count them to make sure that all 4 of them, when you combine them together, add up to 45. That's the only math you have to do. Okay? That's the only math. If you want to put that on the screen, and whoever's finished can, is it up there yet? You want to put the percentages up, Marty? Yeah, go ahead, put it up, because it doesn't matter. They can look at it. All right, so any of you, once you count up your A's, B's, C's, or D's, on the screen, if you got 30 of something, that's 67%. If you got 20 of something, it's 40. Just follow on the screen. The red number is what your score was. The black number is the percentage that equals. If you want to do the math, you take your number for your score, divide it by 45. Okay, that's how you figure out percentages. Some of you don't remember that because it's been a long time. Okay? So you take the red number, that was your score. That's how many A, B, or C's you got, and the black number is the percent. You put that on the line below the score. So let's say you had, I'm going to take this out of here. Let's say you had 19 of A, that would be 42%. So you put 19, and below it you put 42%. Let's say you had 7 of B, you put 7, you put a 7 under it would be 16%. Okay? How many people are still, you found something? Lost and found. Look over in the corner of David Hayes. He's got a brown two-tone scriptures. Two-tone tan. Okay, go in the back. Okay, Mr. Glover's got it. Okay, good. Okay. Now, okay, if you want the numbers from the screen, I could either email it to you or you simply just have your computer calculate it out. Just have the computer automatically take the number and divide it by 45. Okay? Say it again. Just take your score, divide it by the number of total, which is 45. Okay? That's why 45 divided by 45 over here is 100%. Okay? 1 divided by 45 is, it's almost a half. It's 2%. Okay? I mean, it's almost, whatever. It's 2%. It's 2% right there. Okay. We got to finish this quickly. I've got to be somewhere in 10 minutes. Okay, so real quickly as you're doing this, A's are red, B's are blue, C's are white, D's are yellow. Red, blue, white, yellow. Okay, so like for example, one of the questions said, task-oriented, red, sincere, blue, diplomatic, white, lively, yellow. You see how that's just giving you some of that was question 25 on your test there, okay? Just to give you an example, red, blue, white, yellow. Okay. Reds are the power wielders. Power, the ability to, now power not like needing to be the dictator and controller. It's power is the ability to move from point A to point B and get things done. Okay? So it's not power just like to be like the king or something. We want to be in charge as Reds. Oh, did I say we? Oh, that's because I'm a Red. Okay. We want to be in charge as Reds because we believe we can get you effectively and safely and the best possible way from A to B. Okay? And we can get things done along the way. That's what motivates and drives these people. They bring great gifts of vision and leadership and generally are responsible, decisive. I'm going to ask you to take that child out of the room, please. Or quiet them down. Thank you. Okay. Please don't be offended if I ever do that, but we have limited time and you have to be able to hear me. Okay. So they are leaders, visionaries. They generally are responsible, decisive, proactive, and assertive. Now, for some of you that don't have that color and you have, like, especially if you're like white, you know, you could be a little intimidated by all that strength and assertiveness and everything else like that. Okay, so Reds need to look good technically. They need to be right and respected. They are strong leaders and love challenges. So you're going to find that Reds and Blues both need to be right for different reasons. Okay? Reds need to look good and be right from a technical point of view. So if I tell you blah, 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 and I believe I'm right, it's because I can prove it by some sort of a quantitative way. All right? We'll see with the Blues. Doesn't matter if they can prove it or not. They just know they're right. It's not a bad thing. I'm just saying that's just the way they see things. All right, Blues are the do-gooders. Okay, Blues are the more social, relational, all the stuff I don't have. When you learn about Blues, you'll understand why I am the way I am, because I don't have any. Okay. By the way, how many people have missing one color? A couple of people. Anybody missing two colors? Gary, you missing two? Which two do you have? Red, blue. Oh, you're in trouble with that purple. Because even inside, you're going to have some conflict with that. Okay. What were your scores? Oh, those are my scores too, but mine are red, yellow. Okay. All right, so, okay, I'm a two-color person also. Not very common, and not a good thing either necessarily, although it can be effective. When we understand these colors, you'll understand why I'm not only a leader, but I'm a leader of leaders. So I need to be this red to do that. All right? And that way I could have enough space between me and the interacting directly with the people, that could be done by the Blues in the organization. Robert, by the way, is blue-red. That's why you guys interface with him first. Okay? Because he's blue. And that's much more effective in a lot of ways for being more user-friendly. Okay? Reds are not very user-friendly. Okay? No good bedside manner. All right, Blues are the do-gooders, intimacy, and this means, in other words, connecting, creating quality relationships, and having purpose is what motivates and drives these people. They bring great gifts of quality and service and are generally loyal, sincere, and thoughtful. So, as a red, I'm looking for Blues because they're going to get it done. Reds don't necessarily do the work itself. Reds are often the ones that are overseeing the project and making sure that they have quality people that care about quality and are sincere, they have integrity. The blues are the greatest people to have for that. The challenge for the red is that the blues sometimes see things their own way, and it's hard for them not to do it their way, to do it your way. Okay? Blues have a very, not all of this, by the way, is going to be on the sheet. I'm going to share some stuff with you, not all on the sheet. Okay? Your blues are going to have a very clear idea of right and wrong, of justice. They have their own straightforward moral code of what, and it's unique to them. I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just that it's unique to them, meaning they don't feel they have to justify it, back it up necessarily, although they can try and everything like that. It's just, with a blue, it's either right or it's wrong. It's my way or it's wrong. A reds are like, blues have trouble with being more flexible at times with, well, this could be work or that could work. Well, no, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. That's not black and white. I'm not saying that blues are always like that, but that's their tendency. Does that make sense? You don't understand? I mean, if there's a right way to do it, we should do it the right way. Well, what if this other way could also work? Well, but it's not right. I know that, but it works. That's a red talking to a blue. And so, blues are fabulous socially. They like quality time and relationships and connecting with people. Okay? Your two social colors are your blue and your yellows. The less social are your reds and your whites. Okay, blues need to have integrity and be appreciated. You want to make your blue happy? Appreciate them. Even if they frustrate the life out of you. But appreciate them. Okay, because that will light up their day and keep them going, because that's their fuel. Appreciate them, and you better have integrity with them. Okay, my wife is very blue. Okay, and in the color code book, it talks about each color, how they combine them, and it gives a little nickname. Well, red and blue is blood, sweat, and tears. They don't match real well in relationships because they both see the world very clearly, but not necessarily the same. They want to both be in charge for different reasons. Reds want to be in charge because if I'm in charge, it'll get done right, and we'll get where we need to go effectively, efficiently. And the blue says, I don't trust that, so if I don't jump in charge, something bad will happen. All you blues know what I'm talking about? I don't want to be in charge, but if I don't, something will go wrong. Right? You blues don't generally want to be in charge, but you feel you have to or something will go wrong. You guys know what I'm talking about, okay? All right. And you better have integrity. My wife and I are at a seminar for a timeshare. Yeah, we just got married. We thought maybe a timeshare would be fun, We had I guess we got a very discounted week vacation at a hotel as long as we sat in for the meeting. We thought, what not? We could always say no. And we actually liked the idea because we had family members that have them and actually like them. Timeshares are not all a rip-off scam. Some people use them and do very well with them. So we went through the whole process, and at the very end, they're bringing out the champagne, ready to get us to sign, and they mentioned the maintenance. It's a lot of money. Now, you don't pull out something at the last second you didn't talk about on a blue. No. All you blues agree? That is like rule number one. Now, I've been in sales, and so they did the typical sales thing. They did a TO. Anybody in sales know what a TO is? It's a takeover. You go and find a higher salesperson and bring them in to try to get them to close the deal you just blew. Okay? So they bring in the person to do the TO. I've been a sales trainer manager for years. I took the guy over to the side. I said, well, come here. I said, it's done. Open the bottle. The bottle was already open. Drink the glass, say goodbye. It's over. There was a shot if you had done this earlier and I could have decided if I wanted it or not. I said, but you cannot, that woman is not going to be listening to a word you say because you lacked integrity pulling that last minute switcheroo. I said, trust me, I know, as her husband, you're done. I wanted the place. I said, I want the place. There's nowhere to go from here. You blew it. I said, I'm a salesman. I know what you're going to try to do. You can still try. You're wasting your time. You might as well go. You blew it. That's right. You blew it. Thank you. That was great. You blew it. Do you blues agree with that? Oh, yeah, okay. Now, whites. Whites are awesome. Everybody's awesome here, by the way. All you words of affirmation people, you're all awesome. Okay. Okay. And we do appreciate all you blues. You're very well appreciated. And reds, I wish there were more of you because we need some people to step up with the leadership because we need the reds. Okay, whites. Whites are the peacemakers. Peace, the ability to stay calm, balanced, and even keel in the midst of a conflict. So generally the whites handle the very hard to deal with blues and reds at times because we're very strong in our personalities. But the whites can handle that because they generally can stay calm. However, if you push a white too far, run. I promise you, all those guys that went postal were white. Somebody pushed them finally too far. But until you get too far, it's calm. They handle it all. That's why every time these things happen, they said, we never saw it coming. And the white's thinking, that's right. Okay. Okay, so they're motivated by peace. They don't like conflict. They don't like things to be in any kind, so they avoid that as much as they can. They want a calm, quiet, nice environment without any kind of that kind of stuff going on. Okay? They bring great gifts of clarity and tolerance and are generally kind, adaptable, and good listeners. They need to be accepted and treated with kindness. They are logical, objective, and tolerant of others. Now, by the way, every color has strengths and negatives. They don't really talk about the negatives here as much, so I will. Reds, can be intolerant and angry and pushy and dominant, all that kind of stuff. Blues, we talked a little bit already. The whites have a problem with being very stubbornly independent. Okay? You want stubborn? Try to push a white in a direction they don't want to go. Not happening. Okay? As a matter of fact, they'll do that just to remind you, I'm independent. Okay? Just so you know. They'll just pick a few moments to remind you, you don't have a control over me. But they're good for that. Like I said, they're peaceful. You give a white a task, it'll get done when they're ready. Okay? And then if you go to them, they'll say, yes, of course it's going to be done. Eventually. Okay? All right. Let's see. Yellows. Okay? Yellows, I got to do this quickly because we're done. Yellows are the fun lovers. Fun, the joy of living life in the moment is what motivates and drives these people. They bring great gifts of enthusiasm and optimism and generally are charismatic, spontaneous, and sociable. I said, remember, the blues and the yellows are very social. They need to be noticed and have fun. They love life, social connections, and bring positive and spontaneity to things. So again, if you want to get a task done, unless it's fun, the yellow's not doing it. Not interested. Okay? Remember the whole Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer? Look at how much fun this is. Trying to get the yellows to paint the fence. They just want to have fun. Squirrel, squirrel, squirrel. Okay? And so you have to make things fun for them. But they also bring fun. They're the life of the party. The joy. When I say life of the party, I don't mean crazy. Well, sometimes they are. But they bring that joy and enthusiasm and energy into things. Okay? That's our poster yellow person in our congregation. We were at Five Guys one night, and the yellows are sitting at the same table. Oh, my gosh. It was hysterical giggle city. But don't expect if you put them all at the same table and give them a task to do, anything's going to happen. Not anytime quick, anyway. Not because they can't get it done, but they're just got to have fun. What about that job I gave you? I got one. Look out, do you see how pretty it is? I added little things to it and stuff. But you've been doing that for an hour. It only takes 4 minutes. Yeah, but look at how we had fun. All right, that's going to close it there. There's so much more we could do with this. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope it was a blessing. I hope you can use it. What I want you to use it for, though, is to understand yourself as your color. There's a lot more you can get information on. But just go on YouTube and look this up. You can find the guy's name is Taylor Hartman. You can find videos on all of the colors there. Also, if you want a synopsis, that's a really good slide presentation and PowerPoint on this, Dale Hersey has made one from the information that he gathered for all the different colors. It's a great little kind of overview of all the stuff, and so you are welcome to go ask him for it. He's offered it to people, and he can manage to email it to you, whatever you need. And so the main thing is this is part of Up to the Challenge, which is understanding yourselves so you can more effectively understand other people, and then we can build a closer relationship as a body. Amen? Amen. Okay, so as you leave, if you look on by my table towards the left there as you go out, Samia and David are going to be out there, and there are the sheets I just read from for the color code and the love language are there for you to look at. I've got to run. I've got to be in a meeting 5 minutes ago. I know. But you're supposed to be there too, so telling me I got to go doesn't help. Grab these 3 sheets and then we'll go.
You want your bag?
Grab that.